Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are from Kyndryl. I am Priyanka. Tom.
How you doing, everyone? I'm Tom Henwood. Nice to meet you. I'm a client technical leader at Kyndryl. I look forward to talking to you today about connecting workers in the field.
Yeah, I'm the field marketing manager for the telecommunications, media, and entertainment industry. And before we proceed with the topic, I'll just take 3 minutes to talk about Kyndryl as a company. We are the new kids in the block. We are a startup, I would say, but we have decades of experience in this particular space. So we are a spin-off from IBM, a one-year-old company, $19 billion of technology services company, very trusted partner in providing foundational IT services. We have over 90,000 skilled practitioners focused on designing, building, managing, and modernizing the mission-critical applications which the world depends on every day. With the whole spin-off and our new formation as an independent company, while we have a set of practices and areas of focus which are traditional services, we are investing heavily in terms of the new growth transformational services like 5G, cloud, network, security, and resiliency. Our traditional services, pretty much that we inherited from our previous company, is more on the digital workplace and core enterprise and Z and the mainframe side of the business. Going along with the tag on our growth and how we are positioned and structured as a new company, when during the spin-off we announced our 6 technology practice areas, which pretty much comprises of the network and edge, security and resiliency, cloud, applications, data and AI, core enterprise and Z, and digital workplace services. Now, tying all these 6 practices together throughout the span of 1 year, we have been announcing alliances and strategic partnerships with the hyperscalers and technology partners that has helped us target a $500 billion market expected to increase by 2024. In addition to bring all of this together and show our difference in the market and drive customer innovation and acceleration to digital transformation, we have announced, and this happened just like 2 or 3 months before our anniversary, which is November 4th, we announced Kyndryl Bridge. Kyndryl Bridge is an open integration platform which basically ties our delivery services with powered by data and AI insights to tie the digital business decisions with the technology that is needed to deliver those services. So it's pretty much like a single pane of glass where you get to see the monitoring behind that technology and make business decisions aligned to that. Then we announced Kyndryl Vital, which is like a designer-led co-creation and collaboration hub where we host customers and companies to solve and co-create business challenges and business problems with us. And finally, tying all this together is Kyndryl Consult, which is our global network of consultants, decades of experience in managing mission-critical systems, and they work through the Bridge and the Vital to design and deliver solutions that is innovative with the consultancy, but also could be scaled through the Bridge and advanced delivery. All of this is just to focus on the customer engagement and customer acceleration through innovation. Now I would hand it over to Tom to take us through in terms of how private 5G and private wireless, or we call it the next-gen networks, is driving transformation and business use cases more in the manufacturing and the industrial sector. Thank you.
Thanks, Priyanka. So Kyndryl approaches connected worker as well as a number of different use cases in kind of a stepped fashion. So first, when we look at driving the client's digital ambitions, and that might be to improve optimization within a plant, improve overall equipment efficiency, reducing defects, for example, or getting equipment back up and running more quickly following some sort of an outage, predicting outages before they happen. Those are all things that we can do through putting forth a connectivity layer and an edge platform where you can run applications at the edge or the far edge. For example, if you're doing defect detection, you may want to run you might want you might want to run inference on the camera at the very edge, so you're not passing the high definition video across your network, for example. So where that application is located, whether it's at the far edge, whether it's on premise at the edge, whether it's in the cloud, Kyndryl will do advising on where the appropriate place to put your applications are, what the appropriate environment to put them on is. You know, are you going to run an edge cloud provider's infrastructure like Azure Stack or Google Anthos at the edge? Or are you going to run, you know, more of a commoditized hardware platform, open source type of solution, where you can put your containers on there to run your applications on the edge? So once we have the connectivity layer and the edge platform layer together, we look at opportunities to layer on new technologies to continuously transform your business. So those might be things like computer vision or user experience types of applications, different IoT integration. And across all, we layer on security to make sure that your OT environment remains safe and secure. So today we're talking a little bit about connected workers. And connected workers need to be connected regardless of where they are. So if they're in a field, you know, maybe a very large area like an oil field where your wells and your tank batteries are very spread out or diverse. It might be in a large complex refinery, which has got a lot of metal infrastructure that's difficult to cover with Wi-Fi or other technologies. It might be a large manufacturing floor where you're trying to connect workers with data on the floor while still orchestrating robots that are bringing parts, bringing tools throughout the floor, and ensuring that, of course, the worker remains safe in those types of environments. And then, you know, each one of these has their own challenges, as you see here. In the field, a lot of times you don't have carrier coverage for cellular network service. So you might want to put in a system to provide a private network to connect not only your workers, but to connect devices in the field, to roll out new use cases. Visual AI is one, and there's plenty of others. In-vehicle mobile system monitoring. And then on the factory floor, indoor and outdoor mobility. You may have use cases where things are going in and out of the factory. Mobile use cases are often challenging on Wi-Fi, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then at a facility, you may have large events like a turnaround, where you're shutting down a facility, you need to bring it back up quickly, and so you want to enable connectivity and collaboration with a large number of employees and contractors that are entering a facility to do that particular piece of work. And you, by doing that, hopefully speed the turnaround, having less downtime for a facility. So Kyndryl's private 5G solution partner ecosystem here. We work with a number of partners in this space. Intel, of course, is a partner of ours for IoT types of devices and solutions. Nokia is our predominant partner right now for network infrastructure, radios, antennas, hubs, and on-site core technology. And then within the edge, Nokia has their own edge core, where not only does it handle the either LTE packet core or the 5G core, but also you can run applications there and containers as well. And there's an application catalog that you could also take advantage of for things like push-to-talk, group teams communications, drones, high access indoor positioning types of applications. Or you can bring in different things, as we mentioned before, Azure Stack, AWS Outpost, Google Anthos, or commoditized hardware running on open source platforms for running your applications on the edge. So when you think about 4G and 5G technology, comparing it to Wi-Fi in these kind of large spaces where you have mobile workers, there's really some heavy differentiators. So capacity being one of them. An LTE or 5G radio may support up to 800 simultaneous connections, which, a typical Wi-Fi AP, you maybe load it with 30. 100's probably on the high end. And as you load it up, you start to see things like increases of latency and things like that, which you don't see in a 4G or 5G type of a network. Coverage, maybe an access point covers 2,000, 2,500 square feet. On a factory floor, you can have coverage areas up to 30 kilometers with cellular. So when you think of those large industrial types of settings where you're covering, an oil field, a large refinery, something like that, those areas really need large coverage areas that you can do with private wireless. You can do quality of service on a private wireless network. You get predictable performance, 3 to 5 nines, reliability, mobility. You could do up to about 200 miles an hour on a vehicle streaming data and capture it on mobility. That's not going to work on a Wi-Fi network as you're going from AP to AP. Latency, predictable latency with LTE and 5G compared to Wi-Fi. As the number of users increases on one of these networks, you don't see kind of those spikes in latency. You can get that ultra low latency you might need for manufacturing processes, for AGV coordination, things of that nature, autonomous guided vehicles. And then it's secure by design. So this is a visual comparison of Wi-Fi and private wireless. On the left side of the screen over there, each one of those red dots indicates a Wi-Fi AP. And what they were trying to do here, this is paper mill, they were trying to cover the outdoor space with Wi-Fi. And so you can see they've got about 155 Wi-Fi APs out there, kind of have some gaps in coverage in different areas that they did their best to kind of architect it to give their people some coverage outside. And then they did a similar design over here on the right side using LTE. And you've got 2 radios here, and each radio has 2 antennas. So they've essentially covered that entire area with 2 radios. So when you think about installation, when you think about maintenance on the equipment, the cost of doing the Wi-Fi solution on the left compared to putting in 2 radios and the wiring and maintenance on 2 radios is a substantial difference. So what does that look like? So in that particular one, they also had, I think, 500 indoor APs. And thanks to the signal penetration from the outdoor macro, they were able to replace those with 14 picocells, which are small indoor LTE antennas. So the use cases that are really driving productivity and cost curve at the individual site level, connectivity is number one. Indoor, outdoor, or both. And this is the number one reason why we see people requesting demos to see the service in the field, say, okay, I want to see this in action. You tell me it reaches really far. You tell me I can connect to a lot of users. Let's see it. So we do a lot of demos to showcase that. The security, so much like your macro network, your devices will have a SIM card in them. You can tie that SIM card to the IMEI of the device, which prevents people from taking it out, popping it into a different device, and connecting to your network. So you have complete control of who can join your network. The core is local, so the traffic from the devices that are connected to your network is handed off to you locally. So it never has to go out over the internet unless you need it to. You can apply your security policy there on site to keep all that traffic completely secure. Safety. Safety is a use case that we see driving a lot of this. So cameras everywhere, robots doing dangerous activities, people wearing wearables, so you can monitor the employees when they're in dangerous areas, and then standardization. So once you build that architecture, you can continue to roll it out into different sites around the world. And the only thing that really changes is what's the spectrum asset that you're using. Here in the US, we use CBRS spectrum. There's some other spectrum bands that we can use as well. But in different countries, there's a process to get private wireless spectrum from the various governments. So I've got a couple of case studies here. So the wind farm case study, really, the client was looking to put in a solution that was more affordable and provides better coverage than what they were looking to do with a wireless LAN solution. So they were estimating to cover the wind farm, they were going to need about 761 Wi-Fi APs. So their goal was to provide the techs that service the wind farm with real-time remote network access to minimize the windshield time. So before, without the connectivity, they would have to go out into the field, and then they'd have to go back to the operations center, which could be, miles away from the wind farm or the particular windmill that they were working on. So they had a lot of windshield time they wanted to reduce. And then also to capture the vehicle telematics data as they were driving to and from. So what they were able to do is they were able to reduce the trip time of people driving to and from the windmills because they didn't have to go back and forth as much because they had access to data in the field. They were able to pull telematics on the drivers. They were able to increase real-time monitoring and visibility of what was happening in the nacelle, so they could see what the performance was of the turbines, at any given time, and the solution cost was about 90% 90% less than that of a wireless LAN solution. Okay, this second case study is a steel mill, and in this particular one, they wanted to reduce the time it took for trucks to come into the mill, drop off scrap, check the scrap, pay the people, and have the trucks leave. And what was happening is the area where they were dropping scrap was very large, and so they didn't have Wi-Fi connectivity to cover all those areas. So what happened is the person would come, they'd drop the scrap off, they'd take pictures of the scrap, and then they'd have to walk across the yard to an area where there's a Wi-Fi AP where they could upload the images and complete the checkout process. So in order to do that, it could take upwards of 20 minutes on average to get a truck in, drop the scrap, document it, and get it back out. So with putting in a private LTE solution, they were able to complete that process at the point that the person was dropping it off and get it done in about 2 minutes. So you could see how you can get more trucks through in a current day, increase the amount of scrap that you're able to then process into finished materials, and also increase worker safety in a plant. This next one is a video that I want to show you that puts in the customer's words of what they did to enhance worker safety and worker connectivity in the field.
Operations leader at Dow. The biggest thing I like about Dow is the family atmosphere. It's a very safe place to work.
This is the largest integrated chemical manufacturing facility in the Western Hemisphere. We sit on about 5,000 acres, have about 5,000 employees, and a multitude of world-scale manufacturing sites.
My role is ensuring that my team has everything they need to do their job safer and more effective. The risks that we have to keep in mind when we're operating a plant is, we are dealing with chemicals and manufacturing, machinery, also fatigue. Before digitalization, that would look like a technician grabbing a piece of paper. They have to keep that piece of paper with them, and it can be hard to keep track as they're climbing up and down the structures.
Here at Dow, we focus on innovation for manufacturing, for supply chain, for commercial, all about the introduction of new technology and shaping the way we work.
Digital manufacturing is a set of programs that starts with building a foundation at our manufacturing sites, including private LTE, that enables us to put information in people's hands on tablets or smartphones so they have data to make decisions.
Having all that connectivity in our hands where traditionally it would be not something we would have out in the field. We pushed for that. That allowed us to monitor things a lot more efficient and operate in the plant in a safe manner.
One of the benefits of working with Kyndryl to provide this private cellular solution was really the ability to provide very large area coverage at a cost-effective price.
Kyndryl helped make the technology a reality in our plans. Having that networking capability has been critical to our partners like Microsoft, who have layered applications onto that networking solution.
We will have more eyes in the field, more real-time information coming into the control room, and better communication. We anticipate it will absolutely transform our reliability.
We've had a great relationship with Kyndryl. We have hundreds of sites across 30 different countries around the globe, was knowing that we would expand the solutions across all of our major sites. Kyndryl brought the technology to the table, but they also bring the capability to help us implement that technology across multiple sites in a shorter period of time.
Two of the most powerful currencies in human business are time and knowledge. Digital manufacturing enables us to give people back some time, and it equips them with information to make better decisions.
I do take a lot of pride in ensuring my employees go home safely. I know they have families, I have a family. Each day, we're taking a step forward to consistently move that bar higher and higher.
So some of the use cases that they looked to tackle in there were worker safety, the ability to complete maintenance more quickly, having people with access to data in the field with access to connect with subject matter experts while they're in the field, allows them to complete maintenance activities more quickly, resolve issues more quickly, and really digitize their environment. So what's next? So Kyndryl's wireless networking team can demonstrate this private wireless solution in one of your facilities if you're interested. On-site tests can validate the connectivity and signal penetration. We've got experts to help deliver this end-to-end. We do design, build, management, day 2 support of these solutions. And we can connect workers in the field as well as many other use cases that you're looking to accomplish. So this is kind of what an on-site demo looks like. Some of the examples of what we might do in the field is we would go out, we would bring up, this is all done in one day. In this particular one, we connected it to a JLG lift, bucket lift. We put the antennas and the radio and the lift there. The core is in that Jeep that you see at the base there. We were able to connect it to a client-provided internet service. And within the area, we were able to kind of connect and run tests throughout the area, see how far it reached from the position. This was about 50 feet in the air that we were able to raise the antennas up. And we drive around the facility, taking measurements using various tools to show what the RSRP values are, what the signal-to-noise ratio is, things of that nature. So we baseline the existing service, we demonstrate the reach, we measure throughput. This particular one, we were uploading some images as well to test upload speeds. This particular client had a Zebra scanner app for their SAP inventory system they wanted to test, so they wanted to be able to scan a barcode on a finished product and get a response back from the inventory system. We were able to test that. We demonstrated Teams video calls as we drove around the plant, so someone could see what streaming audio and streaming video would look like as you drive, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away from where the antenna position was located. They were able to access local security cameras on their network that were internet connected, but we were able to tie into those systems from their mobile device, check cameras. And we were able to connect some non-CBRS devices as well using an intermediary device like a MiFi hotspot. So you can use a hotspot to connect Wi-Fi connected devices. So that could be a peripheral, like a RealWear headset. It could be a device that's just not CBRS compliant. So as you're looking to kind of looking at the future and your refresh cycle on different equipment, you may have an intermediary device to connect a legacy piece of equipment, and then in the future replace it with a device that's CBRS compatible. So if you want to get in touch with us, this is our LinkedIn barcodes. You can scan them and connect with us. We would love to talk to you, and we thank you very much for your time. Any questions? No questions? Yeah.
What is MiFi?
MiFi, it's like a little device. It's about this big. It can sit in your pocket, and it basically has a CBRS SIM in it, so it can connect back to the radio network. But then it broadcasts a Wi-Fi signal. So if you had a RealWear headset, you're out in the field, and you wanted to share video or collaborate with a remote expert, annotate, take pictures of something you're working on, and really kind of have that collaboration. You can connect Wi-Fi devices that are not native CBRS devices to an LTE or 5G network. Good question. Anyone else? No? Any additional questions? All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate the time.